We are now in the final day of round 5 in the Phoenix Festival tournament with our last few matches to go over. As always, use the links in the description below to go and vote for who you think would win in each match and give your reasoning as to why. Now, our first match of the day is Ozpin versus Tock in the ice and anti-gravity biomes. This would be an extremely fast-paced fight, Ozpin fighting with the long memory and Tock fighting with her dual blades. Now, we don't know Ozpin's semblance, and he wouldn't be using his magic in this fight, so he wouldn't be moving as fast as he was when he fought against Cinder in Volume 3, but being able to draw on the thousands of years of experience that he has, he would be able to adapt to battle and any fighting style that he came across very quickly, and be able to keep pace with pretty much any fighter in this tournament, Tock included. Now, Tock fighting with her dual blades might be able to overwhelm Ozpin as he only has one cane able to block, and not being able to accelerate himself with magic like we are left to assume he did when he fought against Cinder, she might be able to overwhelm him and deal a fair number of blows against him. Ozpin did win against Adam Tauros earlier into this tournament, but Adam, even though he is very quick on the draw, likely quicker than Tock, he only fights with a single blade. Now, Adam could have used his scabbard to attack as well, but Ozpin would be able to block that and be able to block a single blade. Tock with dual blades, though, might be able to take advantage of some openings that Adam simply couldn't during his fight. So I think Tock would have a better time against Ozpin than Adam did, plus Tock also has her semblance of intangibility for 60 seconds, meaning that she wouldn't take any damage from Ozpin during that time and could solely focus on attacking, not having to worry about defense. This would be a lot for any opponent to handle, but I think Ozpin would probably be able to handle it the best, being able to draw on his experience and either just outlast the flurry of blows that Tock would be dealing, or simply use the anti-gravity biome, hop around, and just outlast the 60 seconds by just not taking the damage in general. So it would all come down to when Tock would activate her semblance, if she needed to activate it at all. I think Tock without using her semblance would be a pretty even matchup for Ozpin, as Tock would be able to take advantage of some openings, having the dual blades where Ozpin only has the single cane and not his magic, which it seems he's accustomed to fighting with. I think Tock has a decent chance against him. But with Ozpin's years of experience, he would be able to adapt to her fighting style, and probably having fought numerous other dual-wielding opponents in the past, he would probably be able to find the openings and flaws in her fighting style. She does seem a bit headstrong when it comes to fighting, a bit overconfident, so I think that Tock would win some number out of 10 of the fights against Ozpin, but Ozpin would probably win a majority of them overall. I do think Ozpin would win this one, but Tock would give him a lot of trouble, and I could see this going either way depending on how certain scenarios played out. Moving on to our second match of the day, though, we have Winter Schnee versus Adam Tauros in the forest and savanna biomes. Now, these two characters, I would argue, are relatively equal in the amount of skill that they have. Adam Tauros fighting as an enforcer for the White Fang for numerous years, ever since he was a young teenager, presumably, and Winter Schnee, of course, having the formal training at Atlas Academy, joining the Atlas military, and becoming a high-ranking member of that. Fighting with the sword that can transform into dual blades, it does have some dust capabilities, but more importantly, she has her semblance of glyphs, able to accelerate her own momentum, in theory do everything that Weiss can do with her glyphs, and has her own summoning. The Baby Nevermore Swarm, the Beowulfs that she can summon, and her flying mount, the Manticore that we saw in Volume 7. Now, Adam Tauros fights a little bit differently, though. He has his Wilt and Blush, and his fighting style consists of quickly drawing out the blade to strike at opponents before they can really react. And this fighting style, I feel, would be a bad matchup for Winter, as with Adam being able to get close to Winter pretty quickly and be able to attack her in quick succession, I feel like Winter wouldn't be able to get her summoning off that quickly, and even if she did, Adam would be able to take out those summons with his Wilt pretty easily. Even with the Baby Nevermore Swarm, I think Adam would be a little bit better equipped to deal with that than Crow was back in Volume 3. Winter was skilled enough to keep pace with Crow for a little while, but Crow was really just toying with her in that fight. He wasn't really serious, as he was about to be by the end of the fight when he was about to transform Harbinger into its Scythe form, but then decided to stop just to toy with her even more. So I don't think Winter is on the level of Crow, and neither is Adam, but with Adam and Winter being on a fairly equal playing field, in my opinion, I think Adam has the advantage in this fight, being able to prevent Winter from summoning with the quick draw of his blade and take out any summons that she would have. As I was about to mention, with the Baby Nevermore Swarm, Crow was kind of struggling with that a little bit. Harbinger is a pretty heavy blade, and trying to swing at multiple little flying Grimm that are around you would be a bit difficult. That wouldn't necessarily be the case for Adam, as he's able to draw his blade a lot quicker, and with it being a lighter blade, he can swing it around a lot quicker. So I feel like he would be able to take take out the Baby Nevermore Swarm, and that wouldn't give Winter as much of an advantage as it would against other opponents. Not to mention, if she tried to summon any of her other summons, Adam would be able to take those out fairly easily. Not to mention, if Adam is able to charge up his semblance of Moonslice, he could start dealing some Aura Wave techniques or Aura Blast that he could launch from the ground and deal some pretty heavy damage from range as well using that aura. Now, he could also use his Blush, the scabbard that he has for his blade, as it is also a rifle, so he could launch out the blade, charge in quickly, and attack Winter from there, as well as just attack from range with the rifle itself. So I think Adam does have the advantage over Winter, with his fighting style being a good matchup to counter her summoning and prevent her from doing so. Now, Winter is skilled fighting with a blade, and the dual blades that she has would be able to keep pace with Adam for a time. She was able to keep pace with Cinder, a full maiden, when she was fighting alongside Penny in Volume 7, though she did end up losing that fight, etc. But I think Adam would be a good counter for Winter, and I do see Adam winning this fight overall. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you see Winter winning this fight more so than Adam, or do you think that Adam would win as well with the quick draw of his blade and the semblance of Moonslice possibly being able to be charged up by the impact of Winter's blades against his own, and possibly the impact of having the Grim collide with the blade? It does seem that Adam is able to transform momentum into the power that he stores up in his aura, but he wouldn't really be able to charge up Moonslice that much in battle, so there are a few different ways that this could play out, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And then in our third match in the singles category, we have Arsalan Altan versus Blake Belladonna in the Geyser and Ocean biomes. Now, if this fight was to take place back in Volume 3, I would argue that they would be relatively equal, if not Arsalan being a bit more skilled. But since Volume 3, we haven't really gotten much more on Arsalan's fighting style. She is a close combat fighter, fighting more hand-to-hand and using her weapon that is more of a dagger that's on a rope to trip up her opponents and get added maneuverability around the biomes. In the Ocean and Geyser biome, not really much added maneuverability that she could get, but Blake, having the experiences she's had throughout the next 4 volumes, from Volume 4 to 7, and the training from the Aesops, she has acquired a skill level higher than Arsalan's, and with her semblance of Shadow and Gamble Shroud and the functions that it has, Blake is just more skilled than Arsalan and would be able to take her out in this fight. I don't think it would be too difficult for Blake to do at this point either, based on what we have seen from Arsalan's fighting style back in Volume 3. We did see more of Arsalan in RWBY Before the Dawn, but until we get more of her fighting style and how she's improved over the years and what feats she's accomplished, she doesn't really stand a chance against Blake in this fight, at least in my opinion. And then we move to the teams matches of the day, with our first one being Team Ambit versus Team Silver in the Ice and Urban biomes. Team Ambit consisting of Adam Tauros, Banesaw, Yuma, and Trifa, and Team Silver being a fan-made team created by Mark Zhang consisting of Simon, Magistus, Lycan, Arcadia, Vela, Moaja, and Rigora Cinerum. And I feel like Team Silver just takes this one without too much difficulty. Adam would be a difficult opponent to overcome, but with Vela being able to snipe from range, she'd be able to take out Yuma if he decided to take to the air, prevent Trifa from using her spinnerets, and probably be able to take out Banesaw as well, and then the rest of the team could probably focus on Adam, or 2 members could focus on Banesaw, Yuma, and Trifa, and then the other 2 could focus on Adam. As Rigora, with being able to summon the Familiar that also has ranged attacks, being able to bite opponents if that was launched at Adam and he wasn't able to take it out in a single strike, and it latched onto him, prevented him from moving, then I could see like an Arcadia being able to get in close, deal damage against him, or Simon Magistus be able to use his dust capabilities and take him out, or Rigora just using the axe that she has and beat him down. I do think that Team Silver would take this one without too much difficulty, Adam of course being the most difficult opponent to come up against, but I feel like Team Silver, with their versatility, their skill, and the varied abilities that they have available to them, would be able to take this fight without too much difficulty. And then we move to our second fight in the teams category, which is Team Stark versus Team Coffee in the Anti-Gravity and Forest biomes. Team Stark, of course, consisting of Summer Rose, Tai Yang Xiaolong, Crow, and Raven Bronwyn, and Team Coffee consisting of Coco Adele, Fox Alistair, Velvet Scarlatina, and Yatsuhashi Daichi. Now, Team Stark definitely has a lot more experience than Team Coffee, being members of Ozpin's inner circle and being graduates of an academy for over a decade, whereas Team Coffee are still students at the academy. Fighting as huntsmen for all of those years, Team Stark has loads more experience, but we are having to assume that Summer Rose and Tai Yang are a slight step below Crow and Raven, because with Crow and Raven we know their weapons, their fighting styles, and their semblances, whereas we don't know either of those for Summer and Tai. We do assume that Tai is a brawler that he taught Yang to fight, and Summer is likely a speed fighter similar to RWBY, possibly has the same semblance, etc., but we don't have confirmation on that, so we can't do as much analysis, and we are left to assume that they are just going to be a step below in terms of their capabilities when it comes to fighting. We know they're on a similar skill level, but just based on what we know about them, we have to hold them back a little bit. But Crow and Raven in their own right are extremely skilled. Raven being able to use her Kindred Link to all of the allies that she has on a Team Stark, having them jump through the portals has been a very useful tactic throughout this tournament so far, and Crow with his misfortune being able to affect opponents, but Team Coffee wouldn't go down without a fight. Coco Adele, having her semblance of hype and her Jianduja, the Gatling gun that she has, would be able to deal a lot of damage against anyone that they came in contact with. There is the forest biome that Team Stark could use for cover. Raven could make portals behind the trees, and Team Stark could easily get to cover, but Coco, I feel like, would be able to rip through the trees with her Jianduja and be able to cause a lot of mayhem with that. Now, with Team Stark being able to create portals around the battlefield, it would be hard for Coco to actually land a hit on opponents, as they would be very used to dodging out of the way, using the portals to get out of the way, but Fox would be able to use his telepathy to be able to sense where Team Stark was. Even if they jumped through the portals, Fox would immediately be able to use his telepathy to tell the rest of his team where Team Stark was popping up, which would be a huge advantage for them. Not to mention, Yatsuhashi could also be very effective at dealing some pretty decent damage against Team Stark. If Fox is able to relay to the rest of his team where Team Stark might be popping up, where those portals are coming out, and where Team Stark is hiding, Yatsuhashi could do one of those things that he did in Volume 3, and jump really high in the air and then slam Fulcrum down, and he could possibly take out a member of Team Stark if he landed a good blow against them. Not to mention, Yatsuhashi also has a semblance of memory wiping, not that Team Stark would really give him a chance to use that, as he needs either really good focus on whoever he's trying to wipe their memory or physical contact, which the physical contact part probably wouldn't happen, so I don't know if Yatsuhashi's semblance would really play that much of a factor, but still, Yatsuhashi could deal a lot of damage if he landed a direct blow against Team Stark, or even just the radiating shockwave from it could be enough to disorient Team Stark for Velvet to jump in, use the right weapon for the situation, using her Anisadora and her photographic memory to deal the finishing blow to certain members. So I definitely think Team Coffee would be able to give Team Stark a lot of trouble, and it would be a very interesting match to see play out on screen, but I do think Team Stark has the experience overall and the weapons and fighting styles necessary to be able to take out Team Coffee. All of Team Stark is presumed to be more fast-paced fighters, similar to Team RWBY, and Team Coffee, on the other hand, Coco, not really the fastest fighter, Yatsuhashi, not really the fastest fighter, so I think Team Stark would be able to beat them in terms of speed, and with Raven being able to have them dodge around the battlefield using the portals, Crow's misfortune, possibly being able to affect certain things about Team Coffee, even with Fox's telepathy and giving them some good precognition perhaps of Team Stark's attacks and where they're coming from with their portals, this would be an interesting fight, but I think Team Stark takes it overall. But let me know your thoughts on all of these matches down in the comments below. How are you guys enjoying the Phoenix Festival tournament thus far? The results for Round 5 will be out in a couple of days on Saturday. The voting for all of the matches in Round 5 will be live until Friday, September 4th, around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, make sure to subscribe to keep up with all the happenings on the channel. Join the Guild of the Eternal Flame. Tweet me at PhoenixKnight7. Join our Discord server, linked in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.